Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review. Uh, Really excited for this guest. Been trying to get her for a while. You've seen her in Hall Pass, The Wedding Ringer, um, Hollywood and Wine, Left Behind, The Flood, which I actually rewatched last night. I really enjoyed it. The great Nicky Whelan is going to be here, and it's going to be fun. So, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and enjoy Reza with Nicky Whelan coming up next.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Riffs with your host, Keith Reza.
Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. I have a very great guest via Zoom. You've seen her in Hall Pass, The Wedding Ringer, and most recently, one of my favorite movies, The Flood. The great Nicky Whelan is here. Hi, Nikki. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so glad to get you because, as I told you earlier, I've been trying to get you since The Flood. I love this.
Thank you. The flood was a really long time ago.
I know.
It might have been like 3 or 4 years ago, right? Actually, 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while, but like I think I just keep sending the requests. The problem with emails is like you never know if the requests are going through, you know what I mean? So like I don't want to be like hounding too much, so I send a request like once every 6 months or something. You know?
Because I also, my wonderful publicity team, we're not doing anything at the moment. So, but they're still obviously were able to connect us, which was really lovely of them. So I'm glad we made it work.
This is so great. So the first question I wanted to ask you before we start talk about the show business, this is just like I guess, an icebreaker question, I guess. I heard you're a huge Star Wars fan, and I wanted to ask you, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Oh God, my family, we just grew up on it as kids. Like I was born into Star Wars. So it was like no Star Trek, just Star Wars through and through. And actually, I might even be able to find it here on this table. This is a real restraining bolt from the set of Star Wars. You know the restraining bolt they put on R2-D2 to stop him from functioning? This
Yeah.
is from the set. An actor friend of mine was on set, and it's just so random and weird. I've got all stuff on my coffee table, but anyway, yeah, I'm a real nerd about it. I love all the characters. I don't know. Every Halloween I dress up as something from Star Wars. My toaster is Darth Vader. I mean, there's a lot going on in my house. It's like a guy's house.
Yeah.
Actually,
Well,
like a little kid's house. I'm just a huge fan. I don't really have a favorite character. I don't know what it is. If you grew up on it, you just have this thing for it. Do you know what I mean? It's just a
yeah. Star Wars was like one of the like I'm not like I'm a fan, but not like crazy like you. But like I watched it with my biological father, and that was like the only thing I really connected with him with was the Star Wars, you know. And so I thought that was kind of cool, you know. And like I guess I just asked that question because the great James Earl Jones just passed. And you know, like it's kind of hard to watch Star Wars now because he's Darth Vader, you know.
I know he's such a classic, such a major, major part. His voice, he's the whole glue of Star Wars. You know, I know they've made a lot of sort of offshoots to it now, and they did The Mandalorian, which I sort of got into the first 2 seasons, which was sick. It was so cool. I know Robert Rodriguez had a lot to do with it, who I've worked with in the past. He's badass. But all this other stuff that's happening, I really am out of the loop. I just stick to the original 9 that were made.
Yeah.
I know they all came in at random times and were very different and accommodating different audiences and stuff. I do love the original first 3 that came out. They're my favorite. They're my childhood. But yeah, I sort of let it drop off. I think true Star Wars fans, and I know they're trying to still milk it and keep it going and keep it alive, but there's nothing like the original 9. It
Oh
just,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
yeah,
The
it's just, yeah.
the original, like the ones in the 70s too, like those were, you know, those were the ones, you know what I mean? Like
Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, that was so cool. Return of the Jedi. I think Return of the Jedi was early 80s Star Wars. I think they were 79. I don't know. Anyway, but
yeah.
yes, in that around the time I was born.
I think that's cool that you snagged one of R2D2's buttons. So like that's awesome.
Yeah, it's his restraining world. I know it's so weird. I've got so much weird stuff on my. It's like literally like a kid's house with activities everywhere.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of activities, you have two cards behind you, a king and a queen.
Yeah, they're just some wall art that I've got. I've got like a monkey over there holding a. Actually, I've got two incredible pieces here. I won't flip the camera around. But one of them is there's 100 of these that were made. They're by Mr. Brainwash. And I think I've got number 27, which took me forever to find. But it's a stormtrooper going to work and his wife fixing his collar and his daughter holding his helmet. So that's
Yeah.
a Star Wars piece. And over here, a very famous photographer has a stormtrooper flipping someone off. That's another one of my pieces. There's all sorts of busyness going on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
You said you had number 27. It's like such a coincidence because I have number 28.
you have this picture?
No, I wish I did. But
God, can you imagine? You have me. I was like, oh my goodness. Do you know the picture I'm talking about?
no, but
Very famous
I was just going with it. Confidence.
Yeah, you got me very excited. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent with everything, but yes.
So you came to the States to do the acting and stuff, and one of your first movies, I guess technically was Hall Pass, but you did a movie called Hollywood and Wine, which I think might have been before, or maybe it was released after, but wasn't Hollywood and Wine like your first main movie that you were in?
Yeah, it was the first thing that actually brought me over to America. It kind of was offered to me because I knew Kevin Farrelly and I knew those guys quite well from traveling here. And they offered me that role with Chris Kattan, oh my God, Vivica Fox. It had so much crew in that movie, like great SNL, Horatio Sands, like all the gang from SNL who were putting this movie together. And as a little Aussie from Australia, like being asked to see the lead in a movie with a bunch of these guys, sort of they had Kevin Farrelly, who was Chris Farrelly's brother, was
Yeah,
directing it, and Matt Berman, and they asked me to play this character, and it's kind of at the time it wasn't a huge movie, and it's a little goofy and a little silly, but it was a really great thing to step into, having no experience in acting in America. And I come here, and that's the first thing I do. And I was surrounded by really amazing actors, some great names in that movie. And it was
yeah,
all this sort of discombobulated situation we put together. And I don't even know where you can watch it. It's a little silly. But anyway, yeah, it was my very first thing I ever did here, and I was very grateful for it because like I said, I got to step onto set with some really clever comedians, and they all really took care of me. So
yeah. My best friend was actually in that movie, and his name was Norm. And yeah, so yeah, we would watch that movie because like I toured with him and stuff. And then like you'd go up and we'd be like, "Oh my God, Nikki's so beautiful." And then Norm would be like, "She's about to kiss Chris Kattan."
you said it in his voice. Oh my God, Noel McDonald. God, we had this scene in the courtroom, and fuck, I couldn't keep my shit together. He was so funny. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I did not realize he was a dear
Yeah.
friend of yours. So funny. Can you believe that all these people are passing away? And then you say Norm McDonald, and it's like that just feels like a lifetime ago. It's so sad, isn't it?
Yeah, this is actually his actual hat. So that was the thing that I have because I wrote on the show and stuff. And yeah, he like I toured with him because he did stand-up comedy, so I was one of his opening acts. So like that's all we would do is just in the hotel rooms is just watch movies and stuff.
How fun. And he's very funny. I remember when he first met me, he was raving on about Elle Macpherson because she's an Aussie model. And he just was very, very funny and very kind to me. And again, I was so young and patient. He was very patient with me. Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny because like whenever we'd watch it, he'd be like, "She's about to kiss Chris Kattan." Uh,
It's
I,
angry.
I was like, "Oh, all right."
Awesome. That's so funny. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
But and then you did Hall Pass, which is probably like your first, big movie and stuff. And I have to ask you something. Has Owen Wilson ever told you he regrets turning you down?
No, we're acting.
Oh, okay.
No,
Excellent.
that's I know that was a old school go in the room, audition, get a call back, read in front of Owen. Like there was, it was one of those things that so many people in Hollywood went up for it. And I had done a few movies here and I'd been testing for some bigger movies and coming down to the last two on some really big films that were being made at the time. I was in my 20s, I think, maybe late 20s. And yeah, this came up and I was in Australia and my agent goes, come home, I need you to audition for this. I was like, please, I'm not going to get it. And he's like, no, I think you should. And I was like, I said, look, let me do a self-tape. I self-taped. He goes, Nikki, get on the plane right now. So I'm like, no. So I literally get on the plane from Australia. I land jet lagged. I'm
Right.
in baggy jeans, a dress over my jeans, jet lagged. It's so tired and discombobulated. And I drive all the way to Santa Monica to that big theater down there. You know how they do auditions and shows out of it on the beachfront there?
Right.
Walk in and the Farrelly brothers are sitting there and it's this big auditorium and there's a lot of people in the audition, not Owen. And I saw all these people in the waiting room and I was like, wow, there's some ballers in here, some really like well-known female actresses. And I was like, "Ah." And I was so tired and I just walked in. I was like, hey, and my accent was really Aussie because I just got back from the summer. I was like, hey, what's up? Yeah, like super bogan. And Pete goes to me, Peter Farrell goes, are you Australian? And I was like, I am. And he said, do it in the Aussie accent. And I was like, phew, even better. So I did it, and it was the goofy scene where she has to dance with Owen, and I was like, oh God, I have to dance in front of these people. So I just like moved like this, so embarrassed. I just felt just
It
silly.
worked though.
I know I was on my way home. I left and went, oh, that was a bomb. And I literally am driving home and I get a call and my agent goes, turn the car around. Owen's coming back to watch you. And I was like, excuse me? So I to flip on Santa Monica Boulevard, drive all the way back, go audition in front of Owen, and then I leave, and then they all called me. It was really it was a proper old school Hollywood moment. You audition, and at the time that was a big gig to get. You know, to work with the Fairleys still is such a treat. So it was a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of hoping to work with them because I'm trying to pitch a norm documentary, and so that's what I'm trying to do. Like one of my friends, Rob Moran, he's like a big friend of Peter and stuff.
Rob,
So yeah,
yeah, Rob's amazing. Oh,
yeah,
we know all the same people.
yeah, definitely. So that's kind of what I don't know, maybe I have to edit that out. I'm not sure if I could say that, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about auditioning though, because it seemed like you had like a crazy audition experience where it worked, but do you have like anxiety when you audition and stuff? Because just talking to you, I feel like you don't really like auditioning. Like I feel like that too.
I really don't. I mean, you know, right? I much prefer to be in the room. I always booked a lot more work when I was in the room with people. Usually pretty good with meeting people and being with people and sort of workshopping with people, but going in and performing in such a small space, I can stand up on a stage and talk to 100,000 people live on TV. I won't phase me. But put me in an intimate room with four or five people, and the energy is just, it's a lot. I've never been a great auditioner. I'm a horrible self taper. I can't stand this self tape culture that we're living in. I know we can do it 1,000 times and make it amazing, but
Right.
the beauty comes, and you know this, is working with a by the way, I'm still holding the restraining bolt. It's just my comfort thing now. When you get to sit with a casting director or a producer or even the treat of being with a director and they're like, so many specific notes and deliciousness happens in that creative process. I know that I've done self tapes that have completely gotten, like, I'm like, there's 50 ways we could do this, and I know there's that whole thing, you bring what you've got, but no, there's also workshopping and getting to know someone and understanding energy, and we're losing it. And I would love to get the opportunities to be back in the room. As nervous as the whole process makes me, I think there's a magic to it that we're missing out on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's kind of weird because like I hate auditioning, which is why I kind of gave up being an actor. I just wanted to do comedy. You know what I mean? But but it's so weird because I have a form of autism called Asperger's syndrome. So like I can't really talk to people. So like maybe like when I audition, it's really hard, but I'm really good at talking to celebrities, kind of like this, but I guess because I am a celebrity in a way, you know what I mean? So like I feel it's common ground. But like I can't talk to the girl at the grocery store and ask for her number. You know what I mean? It's like so I feel that feeling towards the auditions where it's like I just can't do it. You know what I mean?
It's really funny what makes us nervous and what we absolutely thrive in different. It's so bizarre as humans what we've built up in our, because I know a lot of people that thrive going into those rooms. They love it. And people that I mean, there's a lot of actors that hate doing red carpets and interviews. I mean, but
Yeah.
they're amazing in front of a camera performing, and it's just this biz is so strange. You know, you've almost got to be well groomed in every area, not just performing, but then you got to go talk about the movie. You got to go sell it. You got to do the all the publicity after it, maybe photo shoots and all this stuff that comes with it. You don't have to, but it's great for the film to be able to promote it. There's so much different skills that are required, auditioning skills, people skills. It's not just, you know, an actor's world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would think the publicity part is probably the best part of like regardless of the filming and stuff, but I would think that that's the best part because you could talk about the project you're doing, and then you could be like, "All right, the writer and the director's not here. Let me give you the real shit." Yeah.
Well, yes, no, you. And I know a lot of actors. I've heard them say they really don't like that part of their process, the part where yeah, they have to go and talk about it on a red carpet and stuff. A lot of these people are quite introverted and don't love all that. I'm all right on a red carpet. I have a bit of fun with it and stuff, but I know a lot of people don't love that bit of it. Yeah.
Oh no, for sure. And this actually might mean something to you because on who knows if IMDb is true, but it says that you're working with this person on an upcoming project. I interviewed this actor named Jake Weber, and he's like, he's one of those guys who's very quiet. He doesn't do interviews, and I begged him for like 10 years to do this, and he finally did it, right? And after he just texted me, he's like, that was the best interview I've ever done. And I was like, that's kind of how I roll because I kind of know what it's like not to want to talk to people like that. You know what I mean?
You understand it. Yeah, you've got like you understand that frequency. I did work with Jake. He's
Yeah.
magnificent. What a treat.
Isn't he the best? Oh my God.
Really. And maybe he's so special. He's so I was so happy to get to work with him. I think I worked with him about 4 or 5 days in Vegas on a TV show that's going to come out eventually. Wow, he's so, and you're right, he is quiet, but we have the same manager actually. So that was my breaking ice, I think. Hey, we've got the same manager, but we had some really funny scenes together. And he's so powerful. And he dropped into this character and this voice that he bought for this particular show. And he's so clever. Huge fan, admire him. Apparently, he's a wonderful director as well. So I would really love to work with Jake again. He's one of the greats. You know, if you look at his
Yeah.
record, what he's done, he's a beast.
Oh, he's great.
I'm
I
glad you guys had a good interview. That's so nice to hear. I didn't realize he didn't do interviews, but that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But like you said he's directing and maybe the next film he's directing he could like direct us in a romantic comedy or something, right?
There you go. By the way, anything is possible. Just
That's true.
I'm telling you know this place.
That's true. Uh so then I wanted to jump ahead to the wedding ringer. Like what was that like? Because in that movie there's like, I don't know, 10 or 15 stand-up comedians in it. And like I wanted to ask like how is that when, these guys they perform to be funny and you're filming a movie that's obviously funny, but like you're kind of fighting for the laughs on that, you know?
Again, I'd auditioned for that, and Jeremy Gerlich, the director, who is one of the funnest people in the entire universe, he makes a set come to life. So does Terrence Malick, similar, different, but that they've got this energy where the whole set comes to life. It's so fun, and everybody's singing and dancing. I mean, it's a comedy, right? So,
Yeah.
and you've got a handful of really great, strong stand-up comedians all riffing their own stuff and making it work. There's a scene in the car where we're all jammed in the car and Josh Gad has the dog attached to him. And it's just a car full of comedians and me. And I think there's another actress, Nikki, in there with us. But it's everyone saying their bit, right? But they're all stand-up comedians, so everything's hysterical. And I'm like everyone's trying not to laugh, and then we're all like trying to keep straight face. That car ride was downtown in the middle of the night, and we were roaring with laughter Oh my goodness, I can't even tell you. Those sets are the best. You just laugh the whole time. You know, one of my first things I ever did here was called Carpet Brothers, and it had David Spade and Will Ferrell in it. And
Oh,
can you imagine on set with those two? And Will Ferrell just does a different thing every take. And I'm new to Hollywood, like I'm just here. I'm lucky to got on this project. I was crying, laughing. Everyone was like, you just say something and everyone, you just can't hold it together. It was the same. This is why I love doing comedies. And I haven't done one for such a long time. Well, like those ones anyway. So you're a comedian. There's lots of people saying jokes and some land, some don't. And we're all just there to hold the space and see what works and what sticks. But for me, I just sit and laugh my ass off. That movie, The Wedding Ringer, I remember Jeremy's like, you have to be able to speak Italian. I'm like, yeah. Italian. I lied. I get to say, Nikki, do you know Italian? I'm like, sort of. He's like, oh my God, the character's supposed to be Italian. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just really wanted the role. Oh my God. I just drove him crazy on that. So I just repeated a few things in Italian the whole movie. And then I turn around and I'm American at the end. And damn, they're all so clever and funny. And Josh Gad is a genius. I
oh
mean,
yeah, yeah.
he studied at NIDA actually in Australia. And then you've got Kevin Hart, who is hysterical. I don't know. I've worked with some really funny people, and just it's such wonderful memories. I know you know all these guys, and you probably worked with them too. So
I don't know Kevin Hart,
yeah, how
but hey,
funny? Yeah, but just he's funny. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, definitely. But no,
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Is they, they don't. I don't feel they make comedies like that anymore. I feel like the comedy gene has kind of turned into let's not offend people type thing. You know what I mean?
I'm obviously I'm close to the Fairleys. I did Whole Pass with them, and I did a few other little things later on with them. They're still people that I know and love, and they were the kings of all that world. I don't even know if there's a market for it anymore. I don't know what's going on. They'll just feel good movies, you know. Where did they go? They make
Yeah.
the same as everyone's always saying, let's bring back 90s movies. You know, it used to take 3 months or 6 months to make a movie, and the
Now it takes like a week.
I'm shooting shit in 14 days. And people are like, oh, it's a weird movie. I'm like, you shoot it in 14 days with no, you do it. Like, it's rough unless you're in that top tier of the business. It's rough. It's a very different day to be living and performing in Hollywood. It's you know it.
Yeah. Speaking of fast shooting schedule, you probably did one of the very last Bruce Willis movies ever,
Yeah.
and I heard like he only filmed his scenes in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, he only came in. I did Trauma Center. I think it might have been maybe the fourth or third or fourth last movie he ever did. And I think he was only there one day. All my coverage with him was with his stunt double when he had gone and a woman speaking off camera. Like it's tough. It was
Yeah,
such a shame to not be able to do my coverage with his energy, but we just got all his coverage and yeah, he bounced out. So wow, what a treat to get to meet him and work with him in the last few movies of his career. He's a stud.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But you know who else is a stud? Nicolas Cage,
Such a stud.
right?
Such a stud.
And you worked with him a lot, you know what I mean? And Nicolas Cage is, I think Nicolas Cage is one of the most overrated actors in the world because I think everything he does is just so unique,
Um,
and I think like that, I think we need more actors like that, you know?
he doesn't have Instagram. He's still incredibly impossible to find. I'm still friends with Nick. Biggest, I have so much love for him. He is so professional. We did, um, what movie was it called? That
We did Left
Left
Behind
Behind, Dog Eat Dog, and
and
Willem Dafoe, which was amazing. And then I did Inconceivable.
uh,
And I know Nick well, and I am a huge fan. And he comes to set so unbelievably professional. And those three movies couldn't be more polar opposite, right? And
right, yeah.
he comes in 150%. He's so invested. He's so professional and so interesting and fascinating. Um, just an in like one of the original proper movie stars. Like when you, I think he's just done a TV show for the first time ever in his career, but when you think about Nicolas Cage, there's not many people in the business left like that with
Oh,
that. He just did
yeah.
that surfer movie, actually, that he shot out in Australia. They were promoting it at South by Southwest. I saw him on the red carpet there, and he's a stud, amazing, amazing father, just a top bloke. He's
Yeah.
so like quirky and like cool, and yeah, I miss that era of actors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I take screenwriting. Now I actually teach screenwriting, but when I went to school to take screenwriting, my screenwriting teacher always said, "Hey, for your first movie you write, you should probably write something for Nicolas Cage because during this time Nicolas Cage was doing like 5 movies a year, just doing them, and they were going to the red box and stuff, and he said, "If you want to sell a script, just throw it to Nicolas Cage."
Wow, there you go. It did have, yeah, but he survived it, and he'll always make a killer movie that will just randomly come out of nowhere. Did you see? Is it Longlegs?
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh,
Oh my God.
oh,
Uh,
random. He just went and did that super dark, like, oh, just he'll do things like that, and you're like, there he goes again.
uh.
It's just
Which
wow.
one do you like? Do you like doing like horror like that? You've done a couple.
I've done a couple. They're not always they're always super dark and like creepy. Like even
Yeah.
fake, it's still like scary. I remember I did Halloween too with Rob Zombie. And they are the greatest people. But like the guy that plays Michael Myers, like we were in a graveyard at night, and I come out of my trailer, and there's this big car park, and he's just standing in the dark under the moon. I guess he was just waiting for someone, and I was just like, oh, everything's so scary. It was just everything's fucking scary. That stuff's creepy.
It
I don't
is.
mind doing horrors, but their comedy sets are the best fun, just because of I don't know the vibe they bring. But there can be some dark moments when you're doing a horror, and same with drama, like really heavy work. You've really got to get into a space when you
Yeah, definitely.
do those movies.
I think I don't know, like have you ever done like a horror con where like you go to a venue and you sign autographs for like 8 hours and talk to fans and stuff?
I haven't been someone that's been there to sign. I've been a guest and I've gone along to one. They had one years ago, maybe 10 years ago, at one of those hotels out in Burbank. And it had cast from Big Trouble in Little China, and it had Freddy Krueger in his gloves. I mean, it was so rad. I mean, I was nerding out everywhere, like having a meltdown. The incredible spooky character from Big Trouble in Little China was there. I was like, oh my God, like, are you kidding?
Oh
So
my God. Did you meet him?
I don't think I paid for the thing. I just probably stood there and stared at him. I mean, I
Oh,
was just like, in the Chucky and all the old school horrors. That stuff's so cool. Like those, I don't even know what you call them. Those festivals or whatever they have are very
I
fun.
guess cons, I guess. I don't know. Like
Yeah, but this had a lot of stuff you could buy. I just did actually my first signing out at one of the hotels, and I went there and I was signing for the first time, but I was surrounded like opposite me was one of the Ewoks. I mean, I was having a meltdown. I was
Oh
like,
my God.
I jumped away from my desk and I'm running over. I'm like, oh my God, you were in Star Wars. I mean, you can put it. They're like, Nikki, go back to your table. I'm like, I will, but there's an Ewok sitting across from me. I was just, again, nerding out.
Yeah. I'm friends with Christy Swanson, who was Buffy and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and she did a horror con in Ontario, which is about an hour away from where I am. So I went to go see her and stuff, and like I'm helping her, like I guess be her assistant, like selling her autographs and stuff. And then Danielle Harris is like right across from me, and like I've always had like the biggest crush on Danielle Harris, right? And as I told you, like I could talk to celebrities, but I can't talk to like, the girl at the grocery store. And I was like, oh, Christy Swanson, that's Danielle Harris. And I didn't know her, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
Christy takes me, introduces me to Danielle, and Christy's like, you need to do his podcast. You'll love him. And then she walks away, and I'm talking to Danielle Harris for like 5 minutes by myself.
Oh, I love it.
Wing woman.
So awesome. Just those moments that we have with people that we grow up watching and love. It's still cool,
Uh,
still important.
And then like you're producing some movies now. I was wondering, have you ever like thought about writing your own script? Because I know you're helping produce stuff, but have you ever thought of like a story that you have to try and bring to the table?
There's a couple of stories that I have in the back of my mind that I'm not wanting to do anything with right now that I will eventually. I guess the producing part is I organically have always brought people together. I really have. I've brought some unbelievable people together just organically by
Yeah.
accident. And like, oh, you should know, should blah blah blah. And everyone's like, Nikki, you should produce. And I'm like, and they're like, no, really. So I was like, all right. So and I don't. Yeah, it's producing's a whole thing. But yeah, when it's needed and I'm needed and I'm passionate and I think something's really interesting behind the scenes and I want to bring people together, I'll jump on board. But yeah, I should have been doing that a long time ago. A
Yeah.
long. Yeah.
I hate it when like someone says they're a producer, right? And you're like, oh, okay, maybe they could put you in a movie. And then the next day you see him at Ralph's at the produce section. You're like, hey, wait a second.
It's LA. It's going to happen. We're all going to run into each other, right?
Exactly. So I did have a couple questions about the flood. I know the flood was like 3 or 4 years ago, but I wanted to ask you, like, when you were filming it and the water scenes, like, how did they do that? Because like if that's a set and they were pouring that much water, like, is that kind of gross and dangerous and stuff?
So gross, so gross. We were in Thailand and we were in this like they'd got this huge abandoned stone building and they brought these water trucks in, flushed them out, and then brought other ones in and refilled them up with water. So you've got big tubes coming in, smashed down windows that are filling up, really filling up a real concrete hotel. It was, and we were I played a police woman, and I was in those Dickies pants, Dickies fabric,
Yeah, yeah.
heavy it is, and itchy, and I'm sludging around in water doing fight scenes, and all the equipment had to be a certain thing because the electricals and the water. Oh my God. And it's 10 million degrees, and we're shooting night shoots in the heat in Thailand in these filthy big buildings. That movie needs more. I mean, it's so funny because people always want to talk about the flood because there is something about it. That was legit. Brandon, our director, was a baller. That was no joke trying to put that movie together. I don't even know how we did it.
Yeah.
Um, Best cast, most amazing bunch of men who was so fun to work with, and everyone was down for it. But we were standing in that water, which was rising. We all had little booties on, like wetsuit booties on, but these heavy costumes. And I just wore my bikinis underneath because every day I'm just saturated in this police uniform, but it was muggy. And so all the mosquitoes from in Thailand would come out in the water, and it's rough.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
And
goodness, we're walking off set as the sun's coming up, just drenched in water. I remember me and Louis were just like, damn, this is rough. Like this sludgy mud and like, oh, I'm just so proud of that movie because it's so funny. But boy, we had a blast. And that was tough.
yeah, and then I bet when the alligators came, it made it way scarier. You know what I mean?
Well, they behind them. I wish we had different.
Yeah, they were robots or something, right? CGIA or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish they'd done something different with them. I wish they didn't show so much of them. Because I feel like when you over show the monster, everyone gets comfortable with it.
Right.
Kind of just, Jaws vibe. Something's there, but you can't, that's kind of, I know. When I first saw them at the start, I was like, no, take them out. Too soon. But anyway, a great fun movie to be a part of. Yeah.
And did you do your own stunts on that as well?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was gnarly. All those fight scenes and stuff, I came out beat up.
Yeah. So like how is it like doing that? Because it's kind of like a dance in a way where you're doing a fight scene, right? You have to really like memorize each move and stuff. And like sometimes accidents happen. Like what if you accidentally hit a dude or something? You know what I mean?
We had a wonderful group of stunt guys from Thai that were lived there in Thailand, but they don't speak English.
Yeah.
So we had a translator.
Oh my gosh.
The stunts, and I was like, "Oh, what is happening?" Huh. And no one was stunts that was performing. So I'm fighting these massive dudes who were huge and they were super gentle, but we're all trying to translate how to do something and me not get hurt because I'm getting flung around this room. And I mean, the boys were so gentle and so awesome, but there's one scene with Mike where I fling my hand back to throw a punch, and it was no one's fault. My hand smashed the camera,
Yeah.
the corner of the camera, and just split open my hand. And I was like, keep going, just do the same. Afterwards, my hand split open and pouring with blood, but we're in a filthy factory filling up with water.
Yeah.
Like, get me alcohol, something, just pour shit on my hand. I was just scared that I was going to get weird bugs crawling into me and then I was going to die. I was so dramatic. It wasn't even the pain, but yeah, so there's a few war wounds from those scenes and stuff. But I'm for some reason, as I get older, they want me to do more stunts and stuff in movies and fighting, which is cool. I just wish they'd asked me 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
mean,
yeah. So I'm kind of the last movie I just filmed this year, the whole movie, it's like a female version of the movie Taken. I just like kill all these people. So every day
oh my God.
I'm just, like it was weeks ago and I'm still hurting. I'm like, ow.
So did I get taken and you had to save me or something?
Sort of.
Oh, yay, excellent.
Love it. Yeah. So
Uh,
a lot of action happening these days and getting lots of fighting gigs. So it's great. It's fine. It's a lot.
uh, Nikki, I want to respect your time, but I have three more questions. Can I ask these or?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, like, who's an actor that you've worked with that's given you like really good advice into this industry? And then like now that when you're the main star on stuff, do you share that advice with your co-stars that you do that look up to you, like you looked up to those actors?
yeah. I think I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't think of someone that may have sat down with me, and I've got to sit down with some wonderful people and perform with them. All as I know is whenever I work with really, and I've had opportunities to work with very really some of the great actors of all time. I've got to share the screen with for little periods of time. Even when I got the Terrence Malick movie Night of Cups, I got to share some screen time with Christian Bale and Antonio Banderas and people like this. Those scenes I don't even know if it was in the movie, but the opportunity to work with these people and be in their presence. They're so good at what they do, their energy and their performance, and just how they carry themselves. They just elevate you to a different level of you don't even know what you're capable of. But when you sit across from these performers, this is the magic, right? Is
Yeah,
they're so good at what they do. They just elevate you. They elevate where you're at energetically, and you just play off that. A lot of the time, I won't overly prepare for stuff because some of the really lovely moments when we're filming happen when just two people sit together. It's how you and I are sitting here talking. Trying to find that thing to make two people click, and there's a lot of magic that takes place. And I know that watching a lot of those actors that I've been able to work with over the years have always been so kind, so patient. All of them. And just be sat, and I've sat at table reads with some incredible people. I did Matador with Alfred Molina, who's so amazing. He
yeah.
was in our TV show, and like what a great man to get to work with every week. Like, he's profound. And so it's more about sort of watching them and how they look after everyone on set and the patience they have um, for actors, especially up and coming actors, and sharing their time and their space and really listening to just being present with you. So, yeah, I think that's my experience with a lot of them. I've just taken away, I've just gained so much from being on screen with them and how gracious they are with up and coming people.
Oh, that's awesome. You
Yeah,
said you were talking about how like energy, like talking and stuff. Like, I don't know about you, but I think this is the best first date ever. Heck.
amazing.
uh,
How
so,
are you going to sit down with how weird it's going to be?
so next question, I wanted to ask you, what is your biggest fear that you have in this business, and do you still have that fear?
Ooh, yeah. Um, Fear. I don't know if there's a fear. You know, I don't get nervous really when I'm actually on set. When I've booked the job and I'm on set, I don't have a fear. It's more excitement. I just don't love the auditioning process. I don't love self taping. It's a skill set that I'm still learning. After being in the business for 20 years, I'm now learning how to self tape. Like it's a thing within itself. I
Right.
don't call that fearful, but sometimes I just, oh my God, can't I just call the casting director and just work with them? That's how I've always, you know, and to be honest with you, a lot of stuff I do these days are offers. I'm so lucky that I get offers, so that helps. It sort of, but
Oh
the
yeah.
really really good stuff, I've still got to, you know, I read for something yesterday that I was sort of really nervous about taping, and a dear actor friend of mine read with me, and he sat me down and he just had to give me a bit of a pep talk on building up my confidence to self tape it. You know, I think it's not one of my strongest areas. I don't like it. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like I'm connecting. I much rather be with the room of creatives working on it and auditioning for it that way. So maybe that's a fear. I try not to let fear. It's a conscious thing I try and think about every day. Fear can really destroy your life in so many areas, not just us as actors. I think fear in itself.
Right.
You only have to sit on Instagram for long enough, and you can create fears by looking out the news. I don't watch the news. You know, there's a lot of things that create fear in our day to day, which I try to be sort of audit all that and be like, nope, that's not worth taking on, because it can destroy your life, the quality of your life, and how you make decisions. So, just being hyper aware of fear in general is a rule.
Yeah. Would you say like intimacy scenes are kind of fearful? Because like whenever I went on auditions, it was either for, the boyfriend or the best friend. And like I always like didn't like because I'm uncomfortable, auditioning for those scenes too.
They're awful.
Yeah.
They're so wrong. Like I did had to do a full blown like crazy, wild, hilarious sex scene with Don Cheadle. Can you imagine on
Uh,
his show House of Lies? And we were like, oh my, you know what this is like. He
yeah.
was pro. He's like, boom, 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 like, you know, close set. But listen, hall pass, I have to get my top off. There's so many moments um, where and it goes on film and it's there forever. Long after I'm gone, that will be living somewhere on some streamer for the rest of time until TV disappears. Intimacy stuff is, but I've always been lucky enough, whoever I've had scenes like that with, and I've had scenes like that with women too, you talk about the awkward space. You go, this is very awkward.
Yeah.
We're right here. So now they have you know, the intimacy coordinators, which are really helpful to guide you through, to talk things out. But just that human closeness with anyone, and then to have it filmed, and to, you know, you're still performing. There's a lot that goes into it. So I think that it is incredibly scary. I know what you're saying, but it's also really lovely to be able to sit with someone and go, this is horrifying.
Yeah.
um,
Definitely.
and I'm like, can I go this way because my chin looks better on this angle? I mean, there's so nothing sexy about it, but I'm like, whatever. We're just like, yeah, they're always tricky, but if they're needed to tell the story or to bring that deliciousness to it, you usually, I think, talking to the other actor about it, they're usually feeling the exact same way as you.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I was like doing a crazy dance sex scene with Dawn, I'd be like before I start, I'd be like, all right, Dawn, don't get any ideas, fella. Uh, yeah.
No, I'm lucky. I've worked with really professional guys. I had to kiss a guy in a TV series I shot. I think it was last year, and it was his first on-screen kiss, and he was terrified, and I was like, I could feel he was terrified.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, I just dropped into the same place as him. Was like, yep, I've been here so many times. So let's just find the space. Tell me what works for you. Like, we walked through it and we got through it. And afterwards, he was like, oh my God. I'm like, it's no joke, isn't it?
Right.
Like, he was shitting himself. We all were. Like, it's part of the gig sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you get offers now because you probably haven't read it yet, but you got offered this great movie role called My Date with Nicky Whelan, and yeah.
awesome.
We offered it to you. We're just waiting to, yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. Well, you might get it soon, but, uh, so my last question for you is if you could go into a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, could be from yesterday or when you were a kid or whatever, what would you tell yourself that you know now?
Wow. Um, you know, in when people do a lot of therapy work, which we've all been in LA long enough that we've all had some experience with a therapist at some point just to survive this very bizarre situation. A lot of the work is talking to your younger self, going back and doing self-talk to the little you, right?
Right.
That missed out on some things or was in an environment that wasn't safe or whatever that was.
That's where I got this question, to be honest with you, as my therapist.
Yeah, because this right the inner child work, which if you've done therapy or you're into all that sort of stuff, you'll know that it's a huge part of the process. And there's so many things. I call her my little, I still talk to my little on a daily basis. I mean, you ask me what's one thing, there's 10,000 things I tell her every single day because if I can go back and still work with her, it'll hopefully come through and allow me to work better now in my life and make better decisions now. Unfortunately, it's not the way it goes. We make all these mistakes and then we go, fuck, and look back. But, uh, probably there's many things I would tell her, but just to be stronger and to say no more. You know, we're always, especially girls, we're always such people pleasers, we're always like, yes, 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 yeah, yeah. And we don't find our voice. A lot of women don't find their voice till later, and men too, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm a woman, so I'm speaking from a woman's perspective, but we don't find our voice. Some of us never find it. And I just wish I'd had more of a voice when I was younger, but there was just so much fear behind it. So it's something that I work on as I get older is finding your voice more and more. So I talk to the little, check in with the old one over here, and we try and work together. And there's many things, but yeah, it's again back to our original conversation about fear, right?
Uh,
So many things that we fear that are so fucking stupid. Like, what the fuck are you fearing about? Like, the things we worry about when we're younger, and then you get older and go, damn, I give me those problems again.
oh, for sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like shit. Things get heavy as you get older, and you wish you had those problems when you were younger. So, but you can't teach that. You can only share stories and hope to share that love with younger generations. And you have to hold the space for people while they go through things that you've gone through, and just go easy on yourself. It's only life.
I mean, but seriously, that is life because like it's kind of like this, like, when I do stand up or when I do a podcast and stuff, like, uh, the worst thing that's going to happen is people aren't going to laugh, or a guest I interview is not going to enjoy me. Like, if that's the biggest thing that it's going to happen, it's not really worth worrying about. You know what I mean? It's all about, I do this to be better with my Asperger's on communicating and be a better interviewer. And then, I do stand up, you know what I mean? So like I feel that it's all in place, you know what I mean?
The stand-up world, I take my hat off to all you guys that do stand up. No one, it's one thing to get up in front of an audience and deliver information or perform, but to go up there for laughs, it's a whole, I would never, ever be able to do that. I've been to so many stand-up shows with comedians, and it's it's brutal when there's not a laugh. It's the energy in the room is everyone's uncomfortable for you, so we all feel uncomfortable, and you've got to keep going. I mean, it's that is fucking set of balls in itself. Like that's no joke, and I think it's a great platform if you've got a lot of fear. If you can stand up and do stand up comedy, wow, what a thing to face. Talking about fears and confidence, and really sort of leaning into that. Well, that joke didn't land because I know a lot of the comedians, cruise around to these sort of comedy houses over the weekends and practice jokes and
Yeah.
stuff for years, and they practice and they don't always get laughs, but it's a well done to you for being able to do that and have that vulnerability, and who knows what's going to happen, how it's going to land. There is a thing as you do get older, not everyone, but I have adapted this more, is just the art. It sounds so simple, but just the art of not giving a fuck.
Right. Yeah,
Be
definitely.
like, just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And the more you can bring that into your daily is very, just don't give a fuck what they think, what they fucking say. Done. Like, you aren't paying my bills and you're not my buddy. Move. Like, we're not, it's just, we could give that to all younger people. Just stop giving such a fuck about certain things, people's opinions. It just doesn't, when you realize how little it matters. Yeah.
Exactly.
Know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
next time I have a show in LA, I'll slide in your DMs and invite you.
Please let me know. Please.
Yeah.
I love going up to the comedy stores. They're so fun. And well done you for doing the stand up. It's so ballsy.
Yeah. But no, I did want to tell you before we go, I wanted to tell you why I asked that time machine question because you're right. It is a therapy tactic. My therapist asked me that. And this is where like it's very because I always try and make my therapist laugh and like this lady just doesn't laugh at all. You know what I mean? like like she takes it very very like I know we all got issues and stuff, but I like to kind of like so she asked me that. She's like, Keith, what would you tell yourself, if you could go back into a time machine? And then I said I would tell myself, do not do crack. And then she writes it down. She's like, ooh, so you have a crack problem? I was like, no, I just think that's good advice.
She's not laughing, is she?
No. I'm just like, oh,
Tough audience. You're paying her not to laugh, by the way.
I know, isn't that?
Think about it.
Yeah. Well, Nikki, where can the folks at home follow and support you?
I have my Instagram, Nicky Whelan, and I have X, but I don't know how to use it because it all changed. I have TikTok, which I don't even know what I'm doing on there. I have a Facebook account floating in the universe. They're all there just under my name.
Ah,
Yeah.
well, Nikki, thank you so much for talking to me. I had a blast, and thank you. And I can't wait for our paths to meet in person and not on the Zoom.
Please come and say good day. And I'm sorry it took so long for us to connect, but we're here now. And thank you very much for having me today.
All right, when the Flood 2 comes out, you'll be the first one on this, right?
I'm making it to number two. Me and Costa.
All right, Nikki, have a great day.
Thank you, love.
All right. All right, guys, that was the episode. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Riffs.